Hello everyone, we are in Famagusta Castle in Walled City. I hope to show you today the highlighted areas of Famagusta Castle. You can see at the center of the city the St. Nicholas Cathedral. Some later we will visit it, and closer to us you can see the St. George and some other old buildings left from the Venetian and Ottoman period. Now I will walk through the sea. I want to show you the port which is in use nowadays. This is the port of Famagusta. It is in use for commercial and touristic purposes. Indeed, this port is constructed by British government while they were running the islands after they take it from Ottoman Empire. Indeed, when you watch some old photos of the Famagusta castle, you can see that actually there was no port here. This part was a beach once upon a time, and there was a hole on the castle walls, and people were using that hole to go to sea. And now I would like to go other side of the castle walls. I want to tell you about the castle walls. According to the history, these walls are designed by the Leonardo da Vinci during the Venetian Empire. And Leonardo da Vinci was an engineer in a Venetian army. And while the war concept had changed, they needed to redesign the castle walls against the strong cannon fires. After the Ottomans' conquer of Istanbul, European states noticed that they should construct such walls that they can stand against strong cannon fires. And actually, all these walls are reconstructed. It was designed so well that it took for Ottoman army to take the castle approximately 6 months. And this was the last city that Ottoman took from Venetian. When we look at the southern part of the Famagusta, you can see the ghost city Famagusta. It is very well known place nowadays. It is under the control of United Nations and Turkish army, and there is no settlement inside. Here is the channel. Now it is a kind of park and people are having their walks here, but once upon a time this was actually full of sea water, and its purpose was to stop enemies to get closer to city walls. Now we are going to the center of the city. I hope to show you some other highlighted areas. We are lucky today. We are almost in the center of the Famagusta. We will go to St. Nicholas after this. This is St. George Cathedral. It's a huge building. It's almost ruined, but there are really interesting parts to see here. Yes, when you look at this side of the ruined cathedral, you can see some holes on the wall, and when you look carefully, you can see the cannonballs stuck in the holes, and that holes are done by the Ottoman cannons. So they are standing there for the last almost 500 years, even more. So what I also want to tell you about the Famagusta city is that according to fairy tales, let's say, once upon a time there was 365 different churches standing in the old city Famagusta, and the king or the commander of the city was worshipping the god each day in different church. Well, I never encountered, but I can easily count more than 30 or 40 different churches. Many of them are sadly ruined by the time, and very less of them are standing nowadays. But it seems that really churches were really important. For example, when you look here, you can see two different churches. Actually, they are almost in the same area and almost they're stuck to each other. Here is the other side of the St. George, and although it is a ruined cathedral, it is really huge building and it's impressive. You can see the roof, how high it is, and when you look at the walls carefully, you can still see some icons drawn by painters long time ago, but due to severe weather conditions, many of them are lost nowadays. The St. Nicholas can be seen now. We are walking to the center, and St. Nicholas is a very good example of French Gothic architecture. It has really impressive stone workouts on them, and nowadays it is still standing. This is the gate to get inside the square of St. Nicholas, and here is the center of ancient city Famagusta. Really high building, and you can see the glasses and the windows. This tree is quite famous because it is only 1 year younger than the building itself, and almost they're at the same age. And you can see the old huge branch of it, and it's really impressive, and I think it's matching the square and it's giving really nice. Now I'm walking other side of the square where we can see the Venetian palace. Actually not much things left from that palace, but still we can see the entrance and that famous columns. You can see 4 columns here, and that 4 columns are actually brought by the Venetians from the Salamis city. You can see the same. You can see the same columns in Salamis city, and here there is a sign which is still standing there. We are indeed still inside the Venetian castle, but not much thing left, as we thought, and nowadays it is used like a car parking area, but you can see the high walls of the previous castle standing. At this part of the palace you can see some ancient cannons. Also there are iron walls which we saw on the walls of the St. George, and some other walls. Now we are returning to the square. From square I want to walk through the sea gate, which is also designed by the Leonardo da Vinci. This lion is famous because lion was the symbol of Venetian periods. And there is also the little versions of it. They're in the tent, they are all destroyed. But still they are the symbol of Famagusta. We are going to climb up for you. We're climbing to the sea gate. Now, the stairs are so steep, it's really hard to climb to them. But the view is awesome. This is the road we came to the sea gate, port gate indeed, not sea gate. And you can see the St. Nicholas and some other highlighted areas at the same time. These three gates are constructed by the British government, and it caused a kind of diplomatic crisis between Italy and England, because the Italian government said that this is a kind of heritage from their ancestors, but the British government didn't care about it, and they destroyed the original walls and constructed these three gates. Their aim was to let the stuffs to get inside the castle easily from the wall. Here is a trench. This is constructed by the Turkish people during the conflicts. You know, Cyprus had a bloody conflicts in 50s, 60s, and 70s between Greek Cypriots and the Turkish Cypriots. And during these conflicts, the Famagusta city was under the control of Turkish troops, so they constructed these trenches, like port gates. I'm walking through Othello castle. I will not get inside the castle, but I will show you the common view. You can see the Othello castle on my right side, and you can see there is still a sign showing the lion, which is symbol of Venetians period, and there is a channel just near us. So this was a kind of castle inside the castle, and you can see the Othello. Othello is famous because of the Shakespeare. It is said that Shakespeare didn't mention about Cyprus or Famagusta in his works, but he described a kind of port city in the Mediterranean Sea. And nowadays there is a statue representing the Shakespeare in the park. Nowadays there is a nice looking park here, and now I'm on the way back to finish our short trip. I hope you enjoyed.